This 2020 Shelby GT500 carbon fiber track pack was a test car for Ford. It's very likely that it was used in these pictures of the promotions for the new 2020 Shelbys. Now this was a beautiful car, and the sad thing about these cars is when Ford is finished with them, they have to crush them for liability reasons. They have to get rid of them. They can't sell the parts on them. In the past, Ford has sold off some of these types of cars to race teams, but then they made it out to the public where people got a hold of them, sold them, and other people got their hands on them. So this time Ford decided to get rid of this one, and before sending it to the crusher, they were going to send it to the Dearborn Fire Department and have them practice cutting it apart in an exercise of vehicle extraction where they actually cut it apart to see how they can get people out of a wrecked vehicle. And this is the result of the car. I do agree it's very sad to see this happen to such a wonderful, capable car. I know it can't be sold to people. I know that it's not like the car is ever going to have a future. Ford has already decided, and by law they have to do this to the car. But there are the vehicle enthusiasts like myself who see this and say, oh, what a shame, that was a really neat car. Now, I've done a story about the pre-production Terminator Cobra Mustangs. I'll put the link into the video description down below. But this is an example of where this car was sent to the crusher, but before it left, the engine that was in the car was unique because it had other signatures on the side of the valve cover built by the Ford engineers when they tried their hand at the assembly line. That engine was actually pulled out of that car and put into a black Mustang Mach 1. So that's an example where some parts have in the past escaped the pre-production cars or the test cars and actually made it to the public and were used, which is, I think, pretty cool because it's a shame that they get thrown out when they're such wonderful things. I did want to take a closer look at this car before it got destroyed and look at a couple of things. First thing you'll notice is the carbon fiber wheels are pretty messed up. It looks like they're rashed and that they're losing air, and you know, Ford could have gone out and destroyed this thing, done donuts, hit it into a curb, who knows what happened to the car. And you know, so what if it's going to be crushed? They can destroy it and have as much fun as they want with it. I also noticed the mirror was broken, and that could have been during this training, but the GT500 badge is missing, so hopefully somebody got away with that. And if you notice, the airbags are all deployed on the car. I've heard that car companies, manufacturers have something they can plug into the OBD2 port, and they can basically tell the computer to set off all the airbags. Maybe it's telling the computer that all the sensors have been depressed or whatever they do, but it sets off all the airbags for liability reasons. There's also a note there in the windshield with the Ford logo on it, it appears, and it probably states that the vehicle is not available for any further use, and you know, it's been donated to the fire department. I don't know what that note would say. It's also in the side window. But anyway, that's the story about this car. It was used very well. I'm sure people had a lot of fun with this car at Ford before it was donated and destroyed. And you know, it reminds me of the time where I had an old printer that didn't work and I was going to throw it in the trash, and I thought, hey, I might as well have some fun with this. So I put it on the ground and I smashed it up with a sledgehammer, and I just had fun with it. And I think that's probably better that this car was actually used for practice, not just fun like my story with the printer, but this was actually used for something useful. Maybe they learned something with this, and it could hopefully help somebody in a bad situation. So anyway, I just thought I'd share this real quick. And as I was finishing editing this video, I noticed other people were putting up videos, like my brother, so you can go check out what he has to say. I'm actually excited to see what his video says about this. I haven't seen his video yet. And there was an article on SVT Performance that I also noticed while I was editing this video, and it basically doesn't have much more to say than what was already here on the Dearborn's Facebook page, which is where this information came from. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more of these Mustang stories.